So let's move on to the next question, guys. So y belongs to an integer less than 1. That means y is some integer less than 1. Y is equals to x plus mod x, and 0 and y is the one which we have to compare, right? So if you look at the question, we have to compare 0 and y. So we have to eliminate x in some form, right? So for example, we don't know if x is positive or negative, right? Let's assume, for example, x is equals to negative, right? So if x is equals to negative, then this will be negative. For example, if x is equals to minus 2, right? So this will be minus 2 plus this will be mod of minus 2. So minus 2 plus 2, which is equals to 0, right? So basically, for any negative value of x, y will always be 0 because this term will be negative and this term will become positive. So this on adding will become 0 for any value of x which is negative, right? So we can write this as, if x is equals to negative, we get y is equals to 0, right? Let's suppose if x is equals to 0. If x is equals to 0, then obviously y will be 0, right? Okay, that is also fine. And let's suppose if x is equals to positive. Let's suppose if x is positive, then this will be positive and this will also be positive. So y will be positive, right? So no matter what value of x you take, whether it's negative, whether it's 0, whether it's positive, the value of y will either be 0 or positive, right? Okay. But we also know from the question that y is less than 1 and belongs to an integer. So if y is an integer which is less than 1, so the possible values of y can be, so y can be 0, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, up to so on, because it is an integer which is less than 1, right? But we know no matter what value of x you take, whether negative, whether 0, whether positive, it can either be 0 or positive, right? But over here, so basically y can never be negative. So all these values are not possible. The only possible value of y is 0, because y is a y is an integer which is less than 1. So the only possible answer is 0, because we know it can either be 0 or positive, right? So 0, 0, so these two are equal. So your answer becomes C, right? I hope this should be fine, like there should not be any confusion. I will repeat myself, because y is an integer less than 1, right? So it can either be 0, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. But we know that no matter what value of x you take, y can be 0 or y will be positive. Y can never be negative. So all these values are not possible. The only possible value of y is 0. So 0 is equals to 0. So the answer is C.